Basic Cooperative Course, Module 1, Lesson 1. Nature and Purpose of the Cooperative. It is quite common to hear Filipinos talk about cooperatives. This is not surprising, since cooperatives have been in the country for over 100 years now. But whether people understand what cooperatives are is another matter. This is because different people seem to have different understanding of what cooperatives are and their purpose in society. This lesson aims to address this confusion and to help promote a common understanding of the cooperative as a socio-economic enterprise. The best place to start is to talk about the nature of the cooperative as an organization and as a business enterprise. Why are they registered separately from other organizations and other forms of business? Why do they enjoy tax exemption? Let's first talk about the cooperative identity, or what makes the cooperative unique and different from other forms of organizations or business enterprise. Consider the coin as the best illustration of the cooperative's unique identity. We have heard it said, two sides of the same coin. This is exactly what the cooperative is. It is one coin with two sides. One side is referred to as an association of people. The other side is referred to as an enterprise. This is clear in the definition of the cooperative by the International Cooperative Alliance and other authorities, which definition always includes the words association and enterprise. The cooperative is both, not one or the other. As an association of people, the cooperative is formed by individuals seeking to find a solution to their economic needs. These individuals realize that on their own, they cannot satisfy these needs, but by associating with others with the same needs, they can fulfill the same by combining resources and working together. Their means to do this is by putting up a business enterprise that they themselves own and patronize. This is why people joining the cooperative, who are called members, are also considered its owners and users. As in the coin, members have to fulfill their responsibility both as owners and as users, not one or the other. However, there are some types of cooperatives that allow non-members to buy their products and services because of the nature of the business. No other form of organization or business enterprise has this unique characteristic, and this is what makes the cooperative different. This is why cooperatives are registered separately with the Cooperative Development Authority. This dual character of members as both owners and users of the cooperative is important in preserving the essence of the organization. When an organization moves away from this essence, to that extent it moves away from being a cooperative. It is equally important that members identify closely with a group, or they feel they belong to it. The common bond of interest is an important element of membership in the cooperative, because people share the same interests by reason of occupation, affiliation, or other social factors that bind them together, can also identify more easily with the same purpose. This brings us back to the two sides of the coin, in understanding the purpose of the cooperative. As a business enterprise, the cooperative has an economic purpose, which is to meet and satisfy the economic needs of its members. And as an association of people, it has also a social purpose, which is to improve the lives of its members. The cooperative has to achieve both purposes at the same time, not one or the other, or not one as a priority over the other. In other words, when a cooperative provides members with needed products or services, it should also ensure that these products or services contribute to their well-being and ultimately to the improvement in the lives of people in the community. This is clear in the present law governing cooperatives, the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008, otherwise known as Republic Act 9520. The law states, "It is a declared policy of the state to foster the creation and growth of cooperatives as a practical vehicle for promoting self-reliance and harnessing people power towards the attainment of economic development and social justice." It is for this reason that cooperatives enjoy tax exemption privileges, because they are supposed to fulfill the social purpose. All this means that members are key to the success or failure of the cooperative. When they are not engaged as owners, they will not develop a real sense of ownership. They will not feel responsible and will be disinterested in the affairs of the cooperative. When they are treated as mere clients, they will treat the cooperative like any other provider of goods and services, patronizing the business only when it suits them. Without member support, the cooperative cannot succeed. Without member support, it becomes a profit-oriented enterprise, seeking its own survival in the open market. It is therefore important to understand the cooperative philosophy from the perspective of members. Simply stated, the philosophy of the cooperative is this: help oneself through the cooperative, and through the cooperative, help others. In other words, an individual who thinks of joining the cooperative should first understand that it is not a charitable institution or a business organization that is there simply to lend money or sell some products or services. It looks at him or her as a person with real desire to help oneself, not only to meet one's immediate economic needs, but also to improve one's life in the long run. One joins the cooperative precisely because he or she has limited means or resources. It is these little resources that a member invests with other members to form the capital needed to run the business they can all benefit from. Thus, it is through the cooperative that a person of limited means can help oneself. But it does not stop here. The cooperative is an association of people, and when members put money into the cooperative by buying shares, making deposits, paying their loan, or buying its products or services, they provide the cooperative with the financial means to help others as well. This consciousness must be real to members, because this is what real cooperation means, which is to join and work with others for the good of one and all. A member who understands these two sides of the coin, that is, helping oneself and helping others in the process, understands the cooperative philosophy. One final thing on the nature and purpose of the cooperative. Let's use again the two sides of the coin to explain the two concepts of financial capital and social capital. On the enterprise side, we already know that members supply financial capital to the cooperative in the form of shares, deposits, or other forms of borrowing. Borrowings or other such funds are also sourced from outside. On the association side, there is the social capital, which is seldom talked about but equally important. Social capital was defined by Dr. Robert D. Putnam of Harvard University as networks, norms, and trust that enable participants to act together more effectively to pursue shared objectives. He also adds, can be measured by the amount of trust and reciprocity in a community or between individuals. The World Bank in turn defines social capital as the norms that shape the quality and quantity of society's social interactions. It is the glue that holds them together. In the cooperative, social capital comes in the form of group identity, shared values, mutual trust, helping attitude, and volunteerism. These are particularly evident in the early stages of the cooperative organization. In fact, this is the kind of capital that big cooperatives we see now mostly had in the beginning, or at the time when they had very little financial capital. As a matter of fact, without this social capital, these cooperatives would not have prospered. In contrast, consider what happened to those cooperatives that depended on outside capital and had practically no social capital at the beginning. These cooperatives are mostly gone now, or have otherwise failed to develop. Unfortunately, this social capital gradually diminished as cooperatives grew their financial capital, and very little of it is now left, especially among many of the bigger cooperatives. This is a mistake. This can also help explain the organizational problems besetting cooperatives right now, and also the weakness of the cooperative movement as a whole. Indeed, there is a need to go back to the real nature and purpose of the cooperative. In summary, because the cooperative is both an association of people and a business enterprise, it has to fulfill both its economic and social purposes at the same time, not one or the other, or not one as priority over the other. Members lie at the center of the cooperative enterprise, which will succeed only if members effectively play their role and responsibility as owners and users. Members can do this if they imbibe the philosophy of helping oneself and helping others, and understand that they can realize both objectives through the cooperative. Finally, there is a need to preserve the social capital of the cooperative, even as it grows its financial capital, in order to keep the economic and social balance that makes the cooperative unique and different from other forms of enterprises.